Being a DM is more than just managing monster stat blocks and voices. It's really about helping construct a world alongside with your players to tell a really good story. And one of the easy ways to do this is by using a virtual tabletop, or VTT for short. One of my favorite ones is Owlbear Rodeo because it's very flexible and it's easy to use. So whether if you're using it for a Theater of the Mind campaign, or if you're using it for a more tactical game with battle maps, it's perfect. Now, it doesn't have the bells and whistles like other tabletops, but it has enough to allow you to really create a really fun experience. So in this video, I'm going to walk through how to make Owlbear Rodeo work for your games and how to easily set it up, no matter what type of method you're using. So if you're using the of the mind, or if you're using battle maps, or a mixture of both, I'm going to show you and walk you through that process today. So if you're new to this channel, like, subscribe, and follow me for more. And now that we got that out of the way, let's get started. Okay, so this is Owlbear Rodeo. This is the homepage, and I actually have a link in the description. So if you want to follow along while you have this video open, definitely feel free. But first, what you're going to do is you're going to click on the upper right hand corner, create a profile, and you're going to create a room. So on the free account, you have access to 2 rooms, and which is great because if you have if 2 games going, great that you can have free access to that all you want. And the great thing about Owlbear Rodeo that although it was very simple, you can modify it on basically how you like. So your games may look different, but just keep in mind that that you're gonna be sharing assets in between the games. If you're watching this video and you have the paid subscriptions for Owlbear Rodeo, let me know in the comments um, on what that's like. If it's still paid, if it's shared or not, or sorry, if you share the assets between your rooms or if it's separate. I think it's separate if you pay for it. Um, but before I jump right into rooms, I want to show you a little bit of the extensions that you have access to. So this is the main screen. I've been using the free version for years, so it's never failed me. It's always been very simple and easy to use, and I've always had access to all the extensions. So if you go to extensions here, while other VTTs have access to different apps and tools that are already built in, here you can also kind of add as you need. These are my core extensions that I use for my games. The ones you really need, I would recommend you starting out with, would be the weather, um, would be the DJ Genie music player, and it would be the initiative tracker. So even with just these 3, you're going to be off to the right start. And you can definitely feel free to browse all these extensions at your pace. But I know that you have Owlbear that creates their own extensions for their platform, but also you have a lot of third-party creators that create different tools for this too, which is really cool. So they update it over time, so definitely feel free to use and browse. But I would stick to those 3 apps. I have the bad habit of going down the rabbit hole and adding everything, so I definitely wouldn't recommend that. Um, so yeah, actually that's really cool, the theater system. So yeah, I'm gonna get out of this before I start in-game clock. Yeah, you see, I'm already getting started with that. But yeah, um, so let's go right into it. Let's use the real visit. Actually, before we get into, I want to show you something real quick. So here, you can't randomize. Here, you can't make custom room names or backgrounds. It's all set once you create the room. But it hasn't really been a big deal for me to make or break it. Just keep in mind there's particular if you're using the free version and you have at least 2 games, just make sure you choose a different picture and room name, just so you don't confuse it too. So this one's my main campaign, and this one, well, this is for the purpose of the tutorial. You can click and randomize the picture here, and then you can toggle off the different extensions that are shared that you have activated from the main menu. That looks good. So we'll save and we'll jump right in. Okay, so this is the main view. What you're noticing now are four different types of maps that I have. Sorry, I have one map, one right here, and three scenes. And to do this, to highlight things, you can right click on your mouse, and the laser pointer is a very helpful feature. So you'll see me use that a lot. But here, you can really guide your players um, and show them whatever you like them to see. So in this example, this is a city intended for like a West Marches campaign where the players can go to different parts of the city. Here you have the main city streets. Here you have a market. Here's a tavern, and then over here in the upper right hand corner is the adventuring or adventurers guild. Um, and you can highlight them. You can hide or show them. So as your players are progressing through different scenes, you can have them focus on which one to go to. So that just so they have an idea what the space looks like, and it just really helps make your description a little bit more impactful when they're playing the game with you. What's cool about this, really quickly while we're on this, I want to show you the weather feature. So let's go to this map. So the weather feature is tied to each of the tokens or each of the assets you have. So in this case, only assets we have on the map or on this grid is the map. So we're going to click on this. We're going to click on these three dots and then click on add weather. So here's to give you weather. Let's zoom in. All right, looks like we have some snow. Let's say it's rainy that day. You can change the direction of the weather, the amount of cover. Let's say there's a little bit of rain. Yeah, pretty simple. And other stuff like sand. They have clouds, different flowers, and these are all the different directions and the way they can blow. And then just to remove it, you just click remove. Pretty easy, pretty straightforward. Let's go to some of the controls up here. So in the upper right hand corner, you have your players. I put myself as GM, so you would see yourself and your players. So to actually share Owlbear Rodeo, all you need to do is go to your URL, copy and paste it, and then send it to the people that you're playing with. I play with my players on Discord, so a lot of times when the game starts, I copy and paste it, throw it into the Discord, and they can click and access it from right from the server. I think they can access the link. They can always access the link because sometimes there folks are able to join before I send the link. So if that's the case, then they may want to save like bookmark that page. But that's an easy way to kind of just invite your players to the game, and they don't need to have an account. As long as you have an account, you'll be able to share that link with them. Here are some of the player permissions. I don't touch these. I leave them by default. You can manage player. You can change their role. You can invite them. So just by clicking that, it copies the link for you, but you can copy the URL however you like. The other extension that we added was Initiative Tracker. So I'll show you how to use this real quickly. So if you go down here, these are your some of the stuff that you'll need, like your assets, your scenes, your maps, props, mounts, characters, attachments, and notes. And that's just like the full window altogether. So let's zoom into our little training area. Let's say we have two people. We're going to select a fighter. Should pop up there. And you can name them too. So let's name him Red. Then we're gonna have a sorcerer here. Let's name them Blue. Okay, so red and blue are here on the map. Um, there's a lot of different controls you can have with them, but if you notice down here, there are a lot of these are all the default icons. They even have the Blood Hunter class. And they have different creatures like goblins, oozes, giants, all other classes like barbarian, wizard, druid. So you can have them really represent. You have artificer as well. You can have them represent different creatures. Let's say we have some undead that they wander in. All this stuff already comes in for free. You can customize it. For example, these are some of my players. Let's just use a random one. This is a player character, so you can customize and add your own, but with just the defaults, you're fine. To take a token off the map, you just delete. Now, let's talk about some of the controls. So, what you can do, say, for example, Red, the fighter, he takes up his long sword and he's going to charge at the closest zombie to him, trying to remove them from the dining room of the Adventurers Guild. So you click on measure. You can actually measure the distance on the ruler form, and that's all shared here with this scene control. So it's already set to 5 feet. So any map that you put on here, it should automatically snap to the grid, and it should represent 5 feet. Say we want to move him, he moves 10 feet. So yeah, it's pretty straightforward. Um, there's a pointer here. You can draw things on the map. Sometimes if you don't have a token ready, or like you're trying to do an attack, you can use this to highlight things. If he has a spell, like say blue has a spell that targets the other zombies, he can focus it on them. But if you go down to attachments, that's going to be set to favorites. We have conditions here. Let's say red attacks this zombie and he kills it. So that's, you can just throw the dead token on it, or you can delete it. Up to you. Let's say when he attacks a zombie and slays it, some of its blood gets on his skin. He gets poisoned. You can represent it by that. He's poisoned, so his attacks have a disadvantage. Um, it also has different types of props. Um, Blue, the sorcerer or wizard, can have a magic attack, a cone of cold. Let's say it's 30 feet. You can revolt. You can move it around, and you can have him target the zombie, so you can see exactly where he's casting that spell. They have ice. They have lightning cones. They have lightning cubes. They have ice in the line. So if you have breath weapons, um, different spells, it all work. This was the old initiative tracker that I had. I used to use it in my old games in the first version of Owlbear Rodeo. I no longer need it, but I used to use it and have at the very top. I would pin it, have my players roll their dice, and then add their tokens add their tokens to initiative like that. So you can use something like that. I think I grabbed this on I got this on Google Images or something, but you can find one very easily. But let me try to do initiative real quick. So let's add him. We're going to click on the icon, add to initiative. So Blue's name should pop up there. So add him to initiative. Should say undead. Unless you name them, that won't change. So sometimes I'll preset the map. So I'll have them on the token. I have them on the map already, invisible. So before the encounter starts, you won't have to drag all the tokens onto the map. And I would have them numbered. So that would be just one. Then we'll have two over here. This one, then it will be three. And when the counter starts, you can just unhide them and then roll initiative for them. If you need your dice, you have it here. But for the sake of the tutorial, we'll just go ahead and say um, 2 got a 1, 3 got a 2, 1 got a 3. Red rolled a 5, and blue rolled a 6. Really crappy initiative, but just for the sake of simplicity, that's how it would go. And with this arrow, you'll be able to keep track of who's going next. So here, blue goes. Blue makes his attack. He targets um, number 2. Let's say he uses a lightning bolt, and he hits him. You deal damage, and he destroys number 2, and he deletes him from the game. He's gone. So he would actually get deleted from the initiative order. I actually recommend doing that way instead of. I know we have the cool little attachments here, but sometimes if you have a lot of enemies and tokens on the counter, it gets a little out of hand. But just keep in mind that there are bodies there, so if your players want to loot, you have that somewhere in your notes. Um, and yeah, and then when he's done with his turn, let's say he does that attack, and then he's gonna move. He's gonna move down the hall. He's gonna move 15 feet down the hall. That's it. He's done with his turn. Then red goes, and so on and so forth. So that's a very easy way to do that. Let's go to music. So now that you had your battle, let's say you wanted to add music to your encounter. You want to make it really exciting. So here with this music extension, it already comes with a few folders. It comes with things that you can use um, right away. So let's use some combat music. So it should play automatically. If you click on Edit Stream, you'll see that there's a link here. So I know from personal experience, it works really well with YouTube and with SoundCloud, and you can find a ton of different music on there. Um, and you can loop it, you can make it fade out, you can adjust the volume. This up here adjusts the volume for all the music, and you can play and stop it whenever you like. I believe the players on there, and you can also adjust the music volume. Then you have other sounds too. So you can actually have all these on at the same time, and they should work. So you can have up to three. You can have even more sounds. Some of them are a little bit more complex. So like the forest has background sounds and it has a creaky tree. But you can add quite a few different sounds. So um, keep that in mind. And then when you click on them, they should just fade out. So you can actually change music in between your game. And let's say we want to combine it. Let's say we want to have stormy weather, and we want to use the weather feature. So we'll add weather, make that rain, and there you go. And so that's what it will look like. So that's weather. Um, so let's go on to some of the last things, how to change maps. So we know now how to have kind of manage combat encounters, how to use some of the tokens. We know how to change from different scenes and hide different scenes. Um, but what happens if you want to change the whole scene entirely and go, say they go to a different city or they go to a different region inside their game? Um, so you actually go here. So this would be so this at the bottom is going to give you the full menu of everything. Here you have some maps. There's a lot of maps that you'll have just by starting up. Cave, everything from cave to desert are all free, so you can actually use them in your campaign. If you wanted to add a map to this scene already, let's say um, they went to the basement of the adventurers guild. Let's add the dungeon and see what happens. So you can actually drag it here, and it should show up here. An easy, quick, easy map that you can throw tokens on and play. And these have really worked really well when I've had just a map of like the region, like a regular kind of like world map, and the players got into a random encounter. I just went straight into one of these. You can actually drag it from here too. Say they were in a wasteland. It'll snap. You lock it in place, and then there you go. You can get started right away. So that's made combat really, really easy on my end. But scenes is really just going to change the whole slide for you. Um, let's So then, yeah, you'll select the scene. You'll go here. I'm actually trying to. Let's use this. This is city. Oh, so fire. You see, in my campaign, the city was under attack, and there was a lot going on there. So we'll just go ahead and remove that real quick. Um, so yeah, this will be just a city map, or you can use a world map, region map, whatever, and you can quickly kind of transfer to different scenes that way. One of the things I like as a quick tip is in the tokens. I like to create this little character token for my players. Where did I have it here? It's PCs, and I call it the party travel token. So whenever they're on like a big map, they can see themselves where they are relatively. Um, it's just a small one of those small things that I kind of like to have for my players. You can make that very easily by going to the character assets. Um, One of the tools I like to use is called Token Stamp, and I'll include that link in the description. You create your token, you drag it right onto there, and then you name it. Um, you name it up here and save it, and you're good to go. And you just kind of just drag it onto there. Um, for example, like any other PC, you'll just drag that character onto the map, and that's basically how it works. Um, and one final thing I'll show you is using sticky notes. So for the life of me, this has been really, really helpful. I'm actually going to change let's change the assets here. So you have all your sticky notes here. They help you kind of keep track of the game. But I'm going to show you a map that I haven't yet showed my party, and I probably won't end up using it for the campaign. Um, but actually, this works. Let's just drag that onto here. Sometimes you may not always have the time to make really fancy maps, and you want to have something a little more unique than, or you want to add some more maps in the kind of preset that you get. That'll be the third link I add in the description, is how to create very simple grid-based maps for your game, whether you're making a simple dungeon. This was one that we had early in our campaign, and I was able to create it using that tool, and perhaps that can be a video later. But but yeah, one of the things that's really helpful is actually creating little notes for yourself. So say there is a player fighting a giant, you can just drag a sticky note onto there. So you go to notes, just drag it onto there. You'll click on it, you can resize it. And what's great about it is that when you're doing your prep, you can lock all the stuff into place and make it invisible. So only you will be able to see it, and your players won't be able to. But you can have like reminders, like the trap. Let's say there's a trap here, or say there's a let's go with the trap. There's a trap at the door, and the DC is 12, and say that it does. Um, this is going to be extreme, but let's say it does 10d10 damage of fire damage. Say it's an explosive trap. You can have that information for you so that you don't have to constantly look at your notes. Everything is on the screen. I would use this very sparingly, just so that you don't overwhelm your whole entire map with sticky notes. Some other suggestions: maybe the boss's HP. Maybe this giant has 20 HP. So you can actually have it there and deduct it or have it for your notes. Their AC, number of attacks. So if you don't want to have stat blocks there, you can create a simple one for yourself. Or you can also have different character names. Anything that you think that would help you as a DM to have ready, you can create. So there's a limited possibilities on how to use this. Um, like I said, you can use in the very beginning of this video, you can use this for the other mind, use it for tactical based maps. You can never have a battle map in your entire campaign and still use Owlbear to have scenes of images and sticky notes for you, and your players will still enjoy. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much it. Um, so thank you for watching, and if you found this video helpful, like, subscribe, and let me know in the comments what's something that you would like me to look at. Is there a particular platform or something that you use? Thanks again, and I'll see you in the next one.